Ripple XRP, so I do have somewhat of a warning for you today, or I suppose an announcement. It is to do with the WEF, or the World Economic Forum. So they have their annual meeting, which will be taking place tomorrow, and it will be lasting for 4 days. So I'm just going to be sharing with you some news for that, and also some other things as well that we have to do with Ripple and XRP, and of course the price action for the coin today. But before we do actually talk about that, I just do want to say thank you to all of my subscribers and the support that I've received in the comment section. Not only all of your positive feedback, but also quite a few of you have actually congratulated me on now coming to 1,000 subscribers. But again, I just want to say thank you to everyone, because you guys have actually made this happen, so I very much appreciate that, and thank you for also watching as well, as always. And as usual, if you do want daily Ripple XRP coin news, you know what to do by now. Smash that like button and also subscribe to the channel as well. So big news coming in. It is to do with the World Economic Forum. Some people do say that it is a conspiracy theory in terms of the Great Reset and with the pandemic and things like that. But essentially with the WEF, the way that I do interpret it, and from what the messages that they seem like as if they're giving, is the fact that they don't want us to have ownership or access and have rights to that ownership. So for example, in terms of not only property, but in terms of goods as well. And it seems like as if they just want us to rent out all of these things, and that we won't be able to own anything. So then it's kind of like, well, what's the point? Because they are essentially taking away our freedom, and if we don't like what they are saying, well, it seems like as if we are the bad guys. So I do actually have this video of a guest that came on Fox News, and he actually summarized everything within the Great Reset agenda of the WEF. So let's take a look at this.
Joining me now is Ned Ryan, America's CEO. Ned, great to see you tonight. It seems that the goal of this crowd is to kind of create the same panic about climate change that they successfully created around COVID. Do I have this wrong?
No, you got it correct. I mean, first of all, we have to accept the World Economic Forum is a fanatical political organization that uses fear and manipulation, like COVID hysteria, like the hoax of global warming, to really facilitate people thinking that somehow they're the saviors, but really all you're doing is helping them accomplish their goal, which really is a global public-private fascist movement and fusion of big government, big tech, big money, to create a technocratic ruling elite, which conveniently is them. And really, Laura, if you want to look at it a different way too, with the World Economic Forum, they want to create feudalism 2.0, in which we are serfs and they are the lords ruling over us. You'll have nothing and be happy is one of the things that comes out of Davos. That's what they're aiming for. They're aiming for feudalism, in which we are serfs, and we should be happy that they are ruling over us.
So what will be happening at this meeting? Well, apparently they do discuss things like, for example, climate change, and also any sort of pandemics that we could potentially see. Now, a lot of people did think that the COVID pandemic was actually a plandemic. So they essentially believe that it was all planned, and it was all actually done to create chaos. And I'm not sure if you guys have actually heard of this, but there is a new disease, and it is called Disease X. So you know how we had COVID and COVID-19? This is called Disease X. So at the World Economic Forum, they are actually going to be discussing the threat of this Disease X. And they are saying that this Disease X could actually be the next pandemic. Now, we have all been through that pandemic, which did last roughly around about 2 years. And unfortunately, it did cause a lot of the inflation that we are seeing right now. Everything, you know, was shut down. It was an absolutely terrible time in terms of the economies, right? But it seems like as if with this Disease X that these world leaders will be discussing this issue, but also trying to tell us, the civilians, how to prepare for this Disease X. And they're making big claims over here. They are saying that it's 20 times deadlier than COVID. And so I will be keeping an eye on this, because I actually want to see what comes out of all of these talks. But it does seem like as if they are fear-mongering and scaring us as of now. And now that I've actually got that out of the way, let's just take a look at this from David Schwartz. Now, he talks about the XRP ledger and with tokenization, and the reason as to why institutions should be tokenizing on the XRP ledger and what their benefits are for it.
I'm hoping that we're going to see, as real-world asset tokenization projects grow, I think the XRP Ledger is going to be a really good platform for them to launch on, particularly because of the low fees and because of the integration with the DEX, with the proximity to sort of the movement of funds. The ability, if someone's going to buy What do you want to do with a real-world tokenized asset? You want to buy it, you want to sell it, you want to hold it, you want to transfer it. And if you want to buy it and sell it, you want to be able to do that with whatever asset is convenient for you. You don't want to tie, if you tokenize some sort of debt, like you don't want to tie it to US dollars, because then that limits access to it to people who have sort of proximity to US dollars. One of the things XRP Ledger is good for is giving you sort of proximity to many different assets, and that exchange is seamlessly built in. So I think that's one of the many reasons why the XRP Ledger is going to be a good place to launch tokenized real world assets. I think we'll see that in the next year and a half.
So he's estimated 1 year or 1 year and a half. And actually that is pretty realistic. I mean, we have seen other crypto projects where their ledgers have been used for real world asset tokenization. And I do think that Ripple's XRP's technology have established themselves quite well. Now we know that they have instant transfers, so they are able to beat the traditional banking systems. Of course, that is one competitive advantage that they have, as well as the costs as well with the transaction fees. You don't have to be paying a high amount of dollars, so your fees are going to be low. And of course with the ledger it is interoperable, meaning that it can go across different types of ledgers. So for example, across the private and public blockchain, it doesn't all need to be the same, and so it's going to help with making money move around. I do still think that we will be seeing Swift in place, of course, because they are big players, but we know that for the Bank of International Settlements, one of the task force partners are Ripple, and so I do think that there will be a lot of utilization going forward. Now Uphold did announce, I think roughly around about a month ago, and this is for the Canadian residents, that all of these assets will be delisted on their platform exchange. Unfortunately, it is going to be hitting some of my subscribers because some of you do hold coins, for example, such as XLM, HBAR, ADA, SHIB, and XDC. Now you can see over here all of the assets that will be delisted, and the date that they are going to be delisted on is today, so it's on the Monday, January the 15th. So again, make sure that you are able to move your assets away from the exchange and put it into your own wallet, because if you don't, then you could potentially lose it. But again, this just goes to show and imply, well, why are they being delisted? What kind of motives do they have over here, and why do they not want retail holders to be holding these assets? I mean, some people might say that it is not a problem, but I think it's certainly a problem, because if you want to hold any one of these assets, Uphold is not allowing you to do it, and we're just seeing more restrictions being placed on us. Unfortunately, make sure that you have already done this. So before we have a look at the price action for today, I actually just want to show you this video where Eric, who is an analysis for Bloomberg, talks about the fact that there could be more spot related ETFs on the market before we actually see another coin, for example, like with the Ethereum spot ETFs coming out.
Of deviations, or as Ben Johnson calls it, the spaghetti cannon. This volume and these flows, if they're as big as we think, wait until the stuff they throw at the wall. So first of all, Matt Tuttle, who makes famously interesting products, already filed for 2x and inverse 2x and 1x or negative x Bitcoin ETFs that are for spot. You're probably going to see options overlay. You'll probably see one that goes like long Bitcoin, short gold, long Bitcoin, short the S&P. You'll probably see some that are, maybe they have like a asset allocation, 60-40 plus Bitcoin. There'll be all kinds of ways that they're going to reiterate this. They might have one that shorts the dollar and goes long Bitcoin. And this will be interesting. And some of these will work. Some of these will just be like, well, that's a bridge too far. No thanks. And it will close. So get ready for the spaghetti cannon to get fired up. Again, if these flows and assets numbers are as big as you think, it will attract all kinds of sequels and deviations around spot Bitcoin. So even before we get to another coin, there could be, dozens of spot Bitcoin related ETFs on the market by the summer.
So that is his prediction in terms of these spot Bitcoin related ETFs, and we have already just got started. So with the approvals and the live trading happening on the 11th of January, we definitely will be seeing some sort of variations, and some of them may not last, like he has said, and some of them actually may prosper because certain clients want to get into the investment. And so once that does follow, it does make sense for them to get into another coin. However, we do know that the CEO of BlackRock has said in a recent interview that he does see value in an Ethereum ETF. And so whilst we may have some sort of variations for the spot Bitcoin ETFs, I still think that the Ethereum ETFs will be coming out. And we already know that BlackRock, Fidelity and VanEck have already filed for their spot Ethereum ETFs. And I think that the SEC has to make a final decision. And I think that that decision should actually be happening in May. So the price action for XRP coin, we are currently trading at 0.5787. We are up by 0.34% on the 1 day chart. For the 24-hour volume, we are up by 97.67%. We are trading at $1.1 billion in the volume as well. So we are pretty much green for the day. We are doing pretty nicely. I mean, if we have a look at the earlier hours of the morning, we were trading at 0.5853. So we actually did hit that 58-cent mark. Now the lowest that we have been to for the day is 0.5767. Not really that much of a huge move compared to where we are now. But for the 7-day chart, we are not doing too bad. I mean, these highs that we've been over here at 59 cents is only roughly around about 1.2 cents of a move from where we currently are right now. Over here, we were pretty much consolidating at that 57-cent level. Again, we haven't taken any sort of big drops. We haven't come down to 50 cents, so I'm not too worried about that. Still doing pretty good. We've not actually hit 55 cents either, which was a support level that I was looking for if we were going to make a move to the downside. But again, if we have a look at the 1 month chart, despite being down by 7%, we really are only pretty much 2.3 cents away from that 60-cent level, which shouldn't really be that hard to get back up to. And I think once we get to 60 cents, then again, we can move on our way to that 61 to 63 cent range. Guys, if you want daily Ripple XRP coin news, subscribe to the channel and like the video as well.